Hello everybody, I'm Krasi Attasio, and this is my week for the 12 ascendants. The timestamps for each ascendant will be under this video. I will make my brief overview before I tell you how the week will look like for the 12 ascendants. First, the week is very interesting because finally Jupiter is preparing to become direct, and with this his energies will be changed. He will give us more blessing. He will become direct in Sidereal Scorpio, and this is indeed a very good news. After that, another very interesting event, also very good, and it is Mercury who becomes visible. Now Mercury already Monday 5th of August, Mercury will be in Sidereal Cancer, and there he will be aiming to join the Sun and Venus. Mercury with Venus and the Sun in Cancer, and also temporary Mars, because Mercury this week is towards the end of the week will enter Leo. But the three of them, Mercury, the Sun and Venus, is a wonderful combination, very creative, very good when it comes to creativity, knowledge, sharing knowledge. Also very nice for communication, markets. Finally, for a very short period, the markets will also have some positive movement. But the most interesting thing is that when Mercury becomes visible in 2 days, now in 2 days we will see Mercury on the eastern horizon shortly before the Sun arises. He will bring very successful energies for our communication, for sharing knowledge, for studying, for media work. So this will be wonderful. Mercury in Cancer with Venus, very creative and very nice when it comes to eloquence, speech, knowledge, astrology, markets, media, your websites. When you share your knowledge, you will see the result. When you, if you want to study something, to publish something, an article, or use this moment with the heliacal rise of Mercury as a morning star. Also, will be very nice to see Mercury now on the eastern horizon. He will be a morning star. Now, before the sun rises, it should be still dark, and then before the sun rises, try to detect Mercury. I will certainly try. So, also interestingly, this week, these planets, with Mars including, Mars shortly after that, Mars is moving into Leo, where he will be even more fiery and impulsive because he is above all invisible, which makes him very impulsive. But interestingly, all these planets are making trine with Jupiter, who becomes direct. So this is very positive, very good in terms of truth, messages, knowledge that can be revealed to us, but also in terms of awakening, collective awakening. It's like another wave of awakening, which already was like marked with this very powerful event when actually this purifying fire, if you want, in Paris, in Notre Dame, was a key event, which was like marking spiritual awakening of people. And now Jupiter is turning direct, receiving the trine of Mercury, Venus, and the Sun, will be squared after some time by Mars. So these are complex energies. This will be awakening not only in terms of spirituality, but literally awakening, because Cancer is the sign of people, of the nations, and people will be awakening. People will maybe really opposing the regime, so you may see group events of people who are rising against the regime. So this is also very possible, because this is truly meaning awakening in any sense, and a lot of knowledge and truth, and it's a beautiful trine which will take place. And this week we are starting to experience already these energies. Of course, the signs Sidereal Cancer and Capricorn will experience this the most, because this is happening on their ascendants or on their moon signs or sun signs. So this was my brief overview, and now I will start with the 12 ascendants. Let me see. Right. Okay. Now let's start with Aries. Now with you, your ascendant ruler is still invisible, and with this, you can be a bit impulsive, a bit too emotional. Now, also, what is this interesting conjunction of planets, of Mercury, Venus, the heliacal rise of Mercury is happening on your fourth house. This will be positive if you like to fix some relationship or to communicate at home. You may travel, you may communicate. This will be interesting for your work and career. Still, Saturn is on your ninth house, still retrograde, still with Pluto, still with Ketu. Therefore, always have in mind that you need to use your intuition when it comes to travel. This is very nice when it comes to knowledge. At home can be a little bit, intense. Too many events can take place. And also at work, the week is positive for your career, for your work. Towards the end of the week, once Mars, your ascendant ruler, moves into the fifth house, this is lucky. This is nice. Can create desire to study, to go into creative studies and knowledge. But still, it would also say that you may need to be a little bit cautious and with children, attentive. This will be also emotional in your love life, related also to your personal relationship. The week is good for traveling. Financially, okay, not superb, but it's okay. It is better than the week before. So, health-wise, the week is good. Communication, and travel-wise, you may communicate and you may negotiate. Use your oratory skills this week. Taurus rising. So now your ascendant ruler is in the third house. Venus invisible together with Mercury and the Sun. Mercury becomes visible. Wonderful for traveling, for negotiation, for fixing relationship with siblings if you want. Once Mars towards the end of the week enters your fourth house, you may need to be a little bit patient and wise with your parents in general at home, and also diplomatic with your superiors. Your relationship, your private life looks okay, maybe a little bit too emotional because of the invisibility of Venus, but once Jupiter turns direct on your seventh house, this looks like a good event to me. Yes, you may travel, you may negotiate. Health-wise, be a little bit cautious, be a little bit responsible, but your relationship, money-wise, the week is okay, a bit better than the week before, not superb yet, but you may travel and you may use your eloquence and negotiation skills this week. You may also use the heliacal rise of Mercury for new media project, for example, or for teaching others or for studying. And now let's see Gemini ascendant. Now for you, the interesting conjunction of planets is happening on your second house, which is nice for your finances, nice for communication with family members. Mars towards the end of the week will enter your third house, and therefore you may need to be careful when you communicate, when you negotiate, also when you travel. Use only good moments and only listen to your intuition. You are receiving support for your health and also from your subordinates at work. Your routine life is quite supported this week. The week is fine for your health. Yes, in general, yes, but keep in mind that still Saturn is on your descendant, and you may need to be responsible for your health in general, even though the week is quite okay. And also be patient, loving, and wise and intuitive with your family members and with your partner at home. This will be up until actually in January 2020, Saturn moves away and enters Capricorn. So he's still on your descendant, and it would say still he's a little bit of a limiting factor. I know I'm repeating myself, but Saturn is also very slow. Therefore, be very intuitive and very spiritual, and you pass through this period quite harmoniously. Be connected with the spirit world and use your intuition. But you may travel and you may use your eloquence skills. And now let's see And the most interesting part, this is Cancer this week because of this powerful conjunction of planets on Cancer ascendants. Mercury becomes visible in Cancer, meeting Venus and the Sun, and at that moment Mars will enter towards the end of the week, your second house. Now, this is quite good for you, for your well-being, for your knowledge, also financially, also for your intuition. Also, this can bring interesting events in relation to your media work, for example, to what you study, to it is quite positive. But towards the end of the week, Mars will enter your second house, and in your second house, he will be a little bit impulsive related to your money. Therefore, he may create these impulses or desire to do some risky stuff in relation to the way you earn your money, but keep in mind he's impulsive, he's also unpredictable. Therefore, be intuitive, be patient. In any case, you are supported from the presence of Venus on your ascendant and Mercury visible, so financially the week was still okay. In your fifth house, Jupiter is becoming direct, good for your children, support to your children, support for your creative studies, creative work, desires to do, to have some pleasure and enjoy beauty, for example. Still, be responsible for your health and keep in mind that Saturn is still awake very much and retrograde with Pluto in your sixth house. This would mean be careful with subordinates because the surprises may come from your routine business, from your subordinates. But otherwise, the week is good and you have the divine support of Venus. Even though invisible, still she's very deep, she's still very spiritual, deep, and very philosophical when invisible. And when Mercury is visiting her on your ascendant, this is very powerful and creative and nice. Okay, so let's see Leo ascendant. All right, for you, you have this conjunction of planets on your 12th house with your ascendant lord. This is good for esoteric studies and knowledge. It is not very good for finances and for supporting your work and career. But this is a short moment, and only after like 10-11 days the Sun is entering your ascendant to bring good new energies into your life. Venus is also entering soon your ascendant, and this will be better for your finances, for your spiritual knowledge, because Venus is invisible. But the Sun will bring you energies. But this week you may need to be a little bit patient, because Mercury, Venus, the Sun on your 12th house is very esoteric and result in interesting dreams, interesting spiritual events that may take place in your life. You may meditate and you will get good results. Towards the end of the week, Mars is entering your ascendant, and this is a timing like already after Wednesday, even already now actually, because he's in the last degrees of your 12th house, when you may need to be cautious, like when traveling, also when negotiating, when communicating with people. Be careful, be intuitive, like don't take risks, don't get involved in risky situations, because when Mars, exactly that fiery and unpredictable and impulsive, comes on your ascendant, this is thing to keep in mind and to be cautious. Now, your career, your work is still supported and home by Jupiter, who becomes direct. Be attentive with your children, like yes, be careful, because Mars from your ascendant is still, and Saturn on the 5th house would say be careful, be attentive, and the next week will be better. Just be patient, and the impulsiveness of Mars, keep in mind that it is there and that you may need to be very wise and yes, patient this week. Health-wise, the week is good, okay, but if you feel a bit melancholic, keep in mind This is temporary, and this is due to all this complex placement of planets on your 12th house. Now let's see Virgo ascendant. For you, the interesting conjunction of planets that bring creativity, blessing is happening on your 11th house. Blessing for your social circle, for your gains, for beautiful things, for luck, for your children. So this is very nice and will bring good luck and will create some movement. Like if up until now, like next week, the things were a little bit frozen. Slowly they will start moving forward. This week you may negotiate, you may travel, you may use the week for like fixing if you have unfixed challenges, issues with siblings, for example. So you may use the moment to negotiate. Challenges are possible career-wise and at home, and that is where you may need to be patient and diplomatic. Health-wise, the week is good for you. You may travel, as I said. You may use your eloquence and negotiation skills. You may use Mercury if you have in mind like media project, media work. This is quite fine. So this is basically the most important thing for you for Virgo rising. Now let's see Libra rising. The interesting conjunction of planets is happening on your 10th house, and this will bring some interesting energies there. Will bring like movement. If you have felt up until now that the things are a bit stuck, that you are a little bit bored, certainly this week you will not be bored. You may even have ideas for new projects at work. There will be quite some development plans will take place. Mars towards the end of the week is entering your 11th house. There he will be a little bit impulsive, but still in the 11th house I don't see any danger. But keep in mind of this impulsiveness, and you may need to be a bit patient. He will influence your money and your desire to make money, so keep in mind he will be a little bit impulsive, and you may need to be a little bit patient, intuitive. So you may need to be a little bit careful when traveling. Ask your intuition if the moment is right, and patient with siblings. Money-wise, the week is good for you. Health-wise as well. So the week looks quite fine for you this week. Especially the blessing is of Venus on your midheaven, which is 10th house, not midheaven, because it can vary. Because this will be the blessing and can solve unsolved issues at work. Now is the moment. So let's see Scorpio ascendant. Now for you, the interesting conjunction of planets is creating harmonious trine to your ascendant. This is quite fine for your studies, for your plans, for your work. Jupiter is becoming direct on your ascendant. Again, blessing for yourself, for your well-being, for your private relationship. This is fine. Still, money-wise, you may need to be very disciplined and very structured and very precise and maintain high moral values so that you maintain good financial status. There will be this time towards the end of the week when Mars will enter your 10th house. Then during this period, be a little bit careful. Don't be too impulsive. Even if you're tempted to, be diplomatic at work, especially with superiors. Health-wise, the week is fine. Actually, very good. The week is much better than the previous week in terms of career, well-being, finances, even private relationship. This was for Scorpio ascendant. Now let's see Sagittarius. Now for you, this interesting conjunction of planets is happening for you on your 8th house, which actually, depending on your personal horoscope, can be interesting in terms of some financial gains. But as I say, this is very private and depends on the horoscope of each one of us. But in the 8th house, this conjunction of descendant ruler Mercury and Venus and the Sun is very esoteric and bring you into new esoteric spiritual realms. It's not very positive for your relationship, but it can be positive for the finances of your partner, for example. Jupiter is supporting you from the 12th house. Partially he will be good and supportive for your health because he's also your ascendant ruler. So finally a helping hand is coming, because I know that you've been quite patient with Saturn on your ascendant, but now Jupiter, who rules your ascendant, turns direct, and this is good for your health and for your spiritual awareness, awakening. Spiritual events may take place in your life, so this is quite fine. Well, yes, the week is still not promising brilliant, but it's almost there, and it's just like only some months left until January 2020 when Saturn will leave your ascendant, and you will really be blessed and relieved and rewarded, be sure. So just be a little bit more patient, rely on yourself, on the spirit world, and I'm sure that you will go through this period harmoniously. And until Saturn is on your ascendant, I know I'm reminding this every time, but it's good that you're responsible for your health. Capricorn ascendant. Your ascendant, what is this? Capricorn ascendant on your Saturn, your ascendant ruler is on your 12th house. Yes, this is a little bit melancholic, but still, Jupiter is now coming to help very much, creating harmonious aspect with his direct motion to your ascendant, helping hand in terms of finances, in terms of positive thinking, in terms of better well-being and feeling. Also, Mercury visible, Venus, the Sun on your descendant is good for your relationship, it's good for your private life. So this is much better week for you. It's like better timing is coming. This is why how I see it. Health-wise also better, financially also better. You experience movement in also in positive way almost in every area of your life. So I see this as a quite good and positive week for you and for your private relationship, and it is a very appropriate timing. For example, if you feel that you have unsolved issues and if you need to communicate with your partner, fix things, now is the timing when Mercury is becoming visible on your ascendant now and meeting Venus. He will bring you creativity, good atmosphere so that you communicate. So let's see now Aquarius ascendant. Now Jupiter turns direct. He will be for a while stationary, then he becomes direct on your 10th house, career place, and this is very nice because he will bring you some movement for good and blessing in relation to career, health. Still be attentive and careful when it comes to children. Be careful and listen to your intuition when it comes to friends and social circle. Otherwise, your routine life, your subordinates will be better supportive this week. Health-wise as well. In your routine life, a lot will be happening for good. Creative events, plans, projects, very possibly there will be some movement. Health-wise, the week is better and fine for you. The energies are just better. Financially as well, you may travel, you may negotiate. I see this week as much better than the week before. So this was briefly about Aquarius ascendant. Now let's see Pisces. For you, this conjunction of planets is happening in your lucky 5th house where Mercury is joining visible Venus. Very creative, wonderful for your children, blessing for them and for your communication with them, for your luck, for pleasures, for creative work, for creative studies. Still though, Saturn is on your 10th house, and this would say still that you still need to be careful and responsible for your health, and very diplomatic and intuitive when communicated with superiors at work. Jupiter will bring blessing for you, and you from your 9th house he will be trining your ascendant, and this is brilliant, like true blessing. He will be trining your ascendant, and he will be from there he will be very like supporting you in every area. Especially good he will be when you desire to negotiate, to travel, to share your knowledge. So this week is much better also for you than the week before. We have a quite interesting movement on the sky, and all this is happening for good. So yes, use the week for enhancing your intuition, for studying. It will be quite lucky financial wise as well. Well, it's not brilliant because once you have Saturn on the ascendant, he's still a limiting factor, but still the trine of Jupiter who becomes direct, the lucky placement of Mercury becoming visible on your 5th house, it's quite good also for you. So with this I'm completing my brief analysis for the week of the 12 ascendants. Now, of course, this is general because everyone's chart is unique, and if you like a detailed analysis, you may contact me personally. My contacts are below, and if you want to study with me astrology, also my contacts are below on my website. Thank you.